When you think about agriculture, often women don't come to mind, but statistically, the farmers of the world are women, and particularly in the developing countries. And they're so impacted and affected by the changing climate that we have. And so they are linked and should be talked about. And we've been working hard over the years. This is the third COP that I've been at, and wanting agriculture to be part of the solution. And so we were very hopeful coming into this one that we would be having a work program. But unfortunately, it was blocked by a few countries. And so we're hoping to get some resolution to that, to find a way through that. And women particularly are keen to know what's going on, how this can be changed, how we can be recognized. And so those are some of the reasons that we're here.
And how do you think that can actually be put into an agreement and actually change people's lives, rather than just all this talk?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think farmers in general, women particularly, want to know how they can be part of the solution. So there's a lot of research going on. It has been for a long time. It's scientifically proved that farmers, through certain conservation practices, by planting grasses, trees, low tillage on their fields, can bring carbon emissions, greenhouse gas emissions into the soil. They can be part of the solution. We know the oceans are rising. We know many things are happening, extreme weather events. Women want to have forecasts that are pertinent to their local region. They just need that information so they know, okay, I'm going to have a longer rainy season, or the rainy season's coming earlier than usual. I need to plant my seeds now, or harvest earlier. How they can store these crops. The added insects, the pests that are affecting their vegetables and their crops. How can they deal with that? Because we have a lot of things that are changing that aren't the norm. And it's important because women not only grow food for their families and their communities, but for their nation. And if the seasons are changing, they need to know about that and how they can better prepare, how they can adapt to the ever-changing climate. And, food security is one of the major topics within the United Nations, and women farmers are part of that food security solution. They can grow more food, they want equal access, and to be able to have that knowledge and that technology transfer to produce a higher yield on their farms, and thus having more of a profit. Because obviously, anytime we make adaptations to our farming techniques, it costs money. And so we need to be prepared for that and better know what's coming our way.
Obviously, there are women, families who are hungry now. And what are you doing about that? What are these talks doing about that? Seems quite far away.
About eradicating hunger?
Well, helping women to farm better now, getting the technology and the science out there now.
I think it's to make the linkages. There's a lot of technology that's going on and research, and so we need to make that linkage for the women farmers. We had, for example, 2 weeks ago, we had a special celebration in Lusaka, Zambia, to celebrate the International Day of Rural Women. And we had a session on climate change. And for the first time, the women farmers, there were over 300 in attendance, actually heard the term climate change. They didn't know what that meant until our seminar. And they realized, because of the extreme weathers, the hotter conditions, the flooding that they're experiencing, that is a result of climate change. And now they know, and they're hungry for information. Okay, what can I do on my farm? What practice can I adapt? Maybe it's drip irrigation. those types of things. That's what they're hungry for, is that knowledge.
And that's what was my question. You know, it's all very well them knowing about climate change, but isn't it better to get them information on how they can improve their crops now?
Exactly, and that's why we're looking to partner with other organizations like the World Meteorological Organization and others to find ways to get cell phones so they can get instant weather forecasting, weather alerts, that type of technical but yet practical knowledge. That's what they're wanting, practical information.
And any chance of these talks for helping teaching people about things like drip irrigation, or perhaps providing new technology, I mean even old technology like tractors and things?
Sure, and some of things are mechanized in parts of the developing world, but not so much so. And so they need to be able to find ways with what they have, the means that they have, to be able to increase their yields. A woman I just talked with in Zambia, Mrs. Sianga, would like to be able to deal with, they had army worms last year that pretty much destroyed their maize crop. She'd like to deal with that in a non-chemical way, in an organic way. And so we could help her find those kinds of products that she could possibly use on her farm, or some suggestions by making these connections for her. So I think it's what we need to do is listen to what the women farmers need, and then be responsive, respond to those needs, because they in themselves are very resilient. They have had to overcome lots of challenges. I have had to on my farm as well. And women are often the glue that holds families together and communities together. And when they create ways to have networks to help one another, help lift each other up, it's very empowering. And so we want to help empower women farmers just to just have a better life. And I think we all want the same things. We all want to have a profit on our farm, to educate our children, and to leave the land better than we found it. So I think that is a universal cause.